barely able to take in what he'd just witnessed. Thank God his dear wife Marie hadn't lived long enough to have to face this nightmare. Philippe took a deep breath, trying to compose himself. It wouldn't do to let himself down in front of others. He studied the row of trucks in front and behind him. None of the other 30 or so men seemed to be moving, so he would have to stay and hope that the dockers unloaded his truck soon. He walked around the front of his truck and pulled open the door. He had a flask of tea in there. Maybe it would help calm him. He lifted it to go and offer some to those nearest to him, when the sound of the plane engines increased. "They're coming back!" Chaz bellowed. Everyone followed the familiar sound of the bombers, and Philippe noticed to his horror that they were racing towards them across St. Albans Bay, landing a direct hit on the row of granite buildings lining the road next to the old harbour. Within seconds, the Heinkels opened fire on the lined-up lorries and men as they flew the length of the Albert Pier towards the town. Bullets strafed the parked vehicles. Their drivers and dockers open targets with no possible chance of escape. Shards of granite exploded from the promenade wall, running alongside them, piercing the men's flesh as they ran for cover. Acrid smoke filled Philippe's nostrils. He didn't like his odds. He tried to ignore the screams from injured men along the pier. Then, covering his mouth with the lapel of his jacket, Philippe took a deep breath and ran as fast as he could towards the closest crane leg, where others were sheltering. Just before he reached them, a searing pain pierced his side and back as several bullets hit their target. Philippe knew that this was it. The Nazis were here. They were invading his beloved island. The girls, his precious daughters. Who would protect his eldest daughter Estelle now? If only he had sent her to England with little Rosie, and not insisted she stay on the island to help on the farm. He had let them down. His last promise to his beloved Marie had been to protect their babies. And he had failed her. "Forgive me," he whispered, as everything went black. Chapter 1. Estelle. 5 days before. Estelle held her little sister's hand tightly in one hand, her small cardboard case in the other, as the crowds jostled, pushing to board the SS Shepperton ferry. She hated being parted from Rosie, but the thought of her sister staying and having to face the Germans if they did invade like everyone expected was far more terrifying.
"I'm scared, Essie."
Estelle stared down at the large brown eyes that reminded her so much of their beautiful mum. Only she had been lucky enough to know Mum's love. She coughed to clear her throat and push away the memory of the day 12 years ago when her sister was born. Estelle had been barely 7, but Dad had needed her to be strong and help look after her new baby sister, while he and her grandmother made arrangements for the funeral. She had welcomed having someone to cuddle during those heartbreaking weeks after her mum's unexpected death. She could barely remember a time when Rosie had not been around, following her everywhere since then. "Don't be," Estelle said. "You've got to be strong. We all do. Anyway, you'll be safer staying at Aunt Muriel's in London. She'll take care of you." Since her mother's death, Gran had been Rosie's mother figure, and now Estelle knew that however difficult it might be for her to ensure Rosie was evacuated to the mainland, it was something that she needed to do.
"But I don't remember her. Do you?"
"You must do. She was only here a few years ago. Don't you remember going swimming with her at Havre Depart bathing pool? She treated us to one of Smith's ice creams that day too. You know, the boy on the bicycle with the cooler on the front." Rosie shook her head, her usual smiling mouth sulky.
"I don't want to go away. I want to stay here with you, Gran and Daddy."
"I know you do."
"I wish you were coming with me,"
Rosie added.